Hi, I'm Lisa for Beachucation.com, and today we're going to answer a question that we get asked a lot, and that is, which font set should I buy for my metal stamping? Now, it's kind of just comes down to personal preference, and I'm going to help guide you through that with a couple questions. So, do you prefer a more classic font or a really basic font, or are you more of the fancy, whimsical type? Starting with that is a great place to start, and we have a lot of different fonts in all those different types. Then you also have to think about what you're going to be stamping on and how large your words are. Some people like to stamp just names. Some people like to stamp just one inspirational word. And a lot of people just like to do one monogram. So let me give you an example. For me, my favorite font is the Kismet 3.2 millimeter. I might be biased because I created that font, but I really, really do love it. And I usually do names, maybe one or two kids' names on like a 3/4 inch circle. It fits great. Now, my best friend Daisy, her necklace that she had me make, she prefers smaller. So she wanted like a 3/8 or 1/2 inch circle and just one letter, one monogram letter on the front for each of her kids. So we went that route. Sort of have to figure your style or maybe your customer's style. I also want to tell you that the most popular letters that we sell are either the 3.2 millimeter or 2.4 millimeter, also known as 1/8 inch or 3/32 inch. So that's a good place to start if you're still confused. Now next I'm going to show you some metal that we've stamped on, and it's 1 inch wide, and we've put a bunch of stamp sets on there so you can see how many letters per what size stamp set will fit in that measurement. What we've got here is a 1 inch wide piece of copper. This is 1 inch and that's 1 inch. And we've stamped out a variety of our stamp sets on here. So you can kind of get a feel for what will fit within a 1 inch measurement. Up here we've got an 8 millimeter stamp set. This is a 6.4 block uppercase, 4.8 millimeter block uppercase, 3.2 millimeter block uppercase, 2.4 millimeter block uppercase, and then this guy is a 2 millimeter uppercase typewriter, and then this tiny little guy down here is 1.6 millimeter block uppercase. Now if you're used to thinking in inches, we have those translations, those measurements on our site, and if you get confused by a ruler, I'm going to go over that in a minute. We're going to have a little ruler lesson. Now on this side we've got our Beachucation Originals. So these are the good guys over here, nice and easy to stamp. This one up here is Kismet. This is a Kismet uppercase, Kismet lowercase, and this is 3.2 millimeters. This is our Wackadoodle set, and this is also 3.2 millimeters. This is our Chronicle set, and it's 2.4 millimeters. And down here we have our baby Kismet set, which is 2 millimeters. Now as you're looking at this 1 inch wide piece of copper, you can see how many letters we fit within that measurement. But we've left it kind of spacious. It's a great guide, but as you can see, you can kind of get maybe another letter in here if you were squishing them up, but this is a good guide to have. Another thing I want to point out is when I talk about those measurements, like up here, this being 3.2 millimeters, we're referring to the height. So that's from the top of the letter to the bottom. Same goes for the taller and longer letters on the lowercase. So we're not talking about the width. The width in lowercase is a lot smaller. So that's why even though the lowercase and the uppercase are the same height, we can fit a lot more letters in on the lowercase. That's a little confusing, but think that through and it'll help guide you on how many letters you can fit in an inch. Let's talk about all the little lines on the ruler. It confuses me a little bit, so I love this chart. I thought it might help you guys. And you can print this out at beachucation.com/charts. We have a lot of really helpful charts on that page for you. But this is how a regular ruler typically looks, with the inches on one side and the centimeters on the other. Reading the sizes on centimeters and millimeters isn't too hard because each little line refers to a millimeter. So this is 5 millimeters and that's 10 millimeters. Up here on the inches it gets a little confusing. So our brilliant graphics designer built on here a little key to teach you. So over here, this very first line and all the little lines refer to 1/16 lines as they add up. So this is 1/16 here. This guy's 1/8 because 2 times 1/16 is 1/8. Not getting too into math here, but that's how that lines up. So that line's a little bit longer. Then over here we have 1/4, and over here we have 1/2. See how that works? So it's helpful as you're looking at our site to have something like this or maybe a regular ruler nearby. So as you're looking at the different font sizes, you look down at your ruler to get a visual of what that might look like. We've stamped out a couple more samples for you. All these circles are 3/4 inch circles, which is 19 millimeters. That's a very popular size. And you can see that we have stamped the same word over and over again, but use different fonts. They all look great. So it goes back to your personal preference of kind of the style that you're looking for. Up here we've used the 3.2 millimeter Kismet, uppercase. This one we use the uppercase to capitalize the word, and then the rest is in the 3.2 millimeter lowercase Kismet. This is all uppercase of the 2 millimeter Kismet, and down here is the lowercase of the Wackadoodle set. This is all uppercase of the Chronicle set, and this one we just got crazy and mixed it up and used something from all kinds of different font sets. This one we just used one font set consistently on the lowercase, and then for the beginning of Dream here, we chose a much larger D, and I think that just looks great. We've printed out this page from our website just to show you a great spot to go to learn something about choosing your font. Now this is in our DIY design section, and this is one of our design ideas. We've used a bunch of different circles and layered them with a bunch of little names on it. Isn't that sweet? So we'll show here how to do 3, which is a very popular design, and then this one has a bunch of them on there, so we had to bump down the size of the font to help them fit. On these design idea and DIY section pages, you can see here every tool that we used. So if you love the look of this, you can see which letter set we used, as well as the different materials and the different sizes.